Hi, I'm Elizabeth at the Radford Public Library, and I have a book recommendation for you. And that recommendation is for this book titled The Woman in the Window. It's written by A.J. Finn, which is a pen name for Dan Mallory. He was formerly an editor with William Morrow, the publishing company, and he got a couple of $1 million when this book was purchased, so quite a good book deal. So this book came out in January of 2018. It's not a new book, and if you haven't read it, gosh, it's a fascinating suspense thriller, really hard to put down. I haven't figured it out yet. I maybe have a couple of hours left to listen to it. I'm listening to it on the Libby app through Overdrive, and it's a great read so far. What can I tell you about it? I can tell you that the main character's name is Anna Fox. She is a therapist. She primarily helps children, so a psychologist, I believe. And unfortunately, she is going through her own trauma. She's an agoraphobic, so as the reader, when we meet Anna Fox, she has been 10 months shut in her home. She can't leave. She's an agoraphobic, so she's too afraid, too anxious to leave her home. And she works from home, but she's also quite bored. She takes a lot of medicine for her anxiety and for her agoraphobia. She drinks a good bit, and for entertainment, she watches a lot of noir films or Hitchcock films. She also uses her Nikon zoom lens to watch her neighbors, not, I think, with any ill intent, just loneliness perhaps. And the storyline is that she's watching one particular neighbor who she's actually met and liked, and she sees that neighbor murdered. And she is quite the unreliable narrator, or the fallible narrator, because she's so often over-medicated and has had way too much to drink. So even as the reader, we're not quite sure what's happening as we read this story, which makes it quite fun. So you can liken this to some of the other books that came out around this time that also had unreliable narrators. So for instance, Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn comes to mind, and this was also turned into a movie. And the other one is Girl on a Train, which is written by Paula Hawkins, also turned into a movie. So if you read either of those and liked them, you would probably really enjoy The Woman in the Window, written by A.J. Finn. I also want to mention that this was made into a movie starring Amy Adams and Julianne Moore and Gary Oldman, and it should have come out last year, but because of COVID, it was one of the many films that was pushed back. So now it's looking like this film will come out in 2021 in May. So if you want to watch that movie, you might be interested in reading the book first. It's also a fantastic pick for a book club. So if your book club is looking for something to read, we have multiple copies of this book because we read it as a book club at the library. So if you'd like to give it a try for your book club, or if you just want to read it yourself, we have several copies of it. It's available to you at the Radford Public Library. If you like suspense thrillers, unreliable narrators, sort of a Hitchcock kind of feel to it, you might really enjoy this one. Thanks so much for listening. We hope to see you soon at the Radford Public Library. Take care.